Well, let's connect with Yogendra Yadav to talk about politics. Yogendra, good morning. Thank you for joining us. Let me start with something which is of immense market curiosity. Do you think SP will support UPA II?
For the time being, it appears that SP will continue to support UPA II. At the same time, I don't see why they would be consistent about it, why they would wish to bind themselves to a government which is, in the larger perception, seems to be going down, a government which appears to be losing legitimacy and appears to be losing political ground. So my sense is that SP would extend an issue-based support, which is to say a support which is not committed for the entire duration, but which is extended from one issue to another, from one session to another. That to me appears to be more likely because from what one hears and what one reads, SP's interests in this government are to do with some package for Uttar Pradesh and something to do with CBI cases of disproportionate asset that Mulayam Singh Yadav has. For both these, they don't need to enter the union cabinet. They can extend a limited support and get whatever they want.
Yogendra, but what about Mamta's government? I mean, can Manmohan Singh government actually survive the pull-out threat? They still have time till Friday when the TMC ministers are going to actually resign. Does this indicate that there is room for negotiation, or do you think this is it and TMC is out of the way?
I think the government has closed its doors for the TMC. That's been happening for quite some time now. There is a long history that we've seen in Delhi. The relations have been very tense. We should also factor in the fact that the relationship between TMC and Congress party in the state of West Bengal have actually gone to, have completely soured, and a divorce actually took place a few months ago. So locally, Congress doesn't have much to gain from TMC. TMC doesn't need Congress, so they don't have any local tie-up at the moment. And I think the government has got fed up. That particular route appears to be closed as of today.
Yogendra, I'm slightly confused to understand that what could be SP's stand on FDI and retail, because we've got conflicting reports. Sometimes we've got a yes, sometimes we've got a no, sometimes we've got no comments.
SP, like many of these parties, are not parties which have a clearly worked out economic policy. I think they go from issue to issue. They look at the perception of people, and whatever they hear, they do it. In other words, SP does not have a clear and coherent policy. They would not wish to be seen to be anti-people. Now the question is, if this is made out to be a question which is anti-people, and that's still being debated, BJP wants to project that this is something which hits at the small business person, which hits at the, the vendors and everyone, then SP might wish to rethink. The important thing is SP may not wish to be seen to be anti-people, and depending on how this issue plays out, they can take a position. They may, my own sense is that they would not wish to tie their fate to supporting FDI on principle.
Yogendra, do you think foreign investors and local investors, they should be excited because Congress has not relented on TMC's demands, or do you think in terms of reform this is as good as it gets?
I honestly don't know about investors. I must confess, I don't look at the world from their point of view. All I can say is that in terms of the government, what's the big picture about this government? For the first 3 years, we saw a government which was legislatively very secure. It had numbers in the parliament, but what it did not have was policy. There was policy paralysis. There was a political paralysis. What we have witnessed in the last 3-4 days is an attempt to shake off what appeared to be policy paralysis in a very tiny sector at the cost of legislative instability and at the cost of political crisis. In other words, the government is legislatively a little more unstable, political crisis remains, legitimacy crisis has deepened, but in very narrow band of reform activities it has moved. It is likely to move ahead, but please do remember, we are soon moving into the final round, the last lap of the government. We are about to move into the 5th year of this government. We are in the 4th at the moment. And this is not the time where a government can afford to take decisions which appear to be anti-people people for a very long time. So yes, some reforms are taking place that the investors would like, but very soon someone would remind this government that in a year and a half time we have to face the electorate, and please, are we doing something for the people? So that might be the outer limit to what is possible.
Yogendra, what everyone on street is wondering is there a likelihood of a midterm election, and if so, who's going to win?
I'm not in the business of forecasting, I must confess right away. At the same time, if you ask me today, I don't think we are looking at imminent possibility of midterm election right away within the next few months. And the reason is very simple. On the part of the ruling party, they would not want it. In fact, weak governments tend to cling to power till the very last day. On the part of the opposition, whatever the bluster, whatever they might claim, the fact is that the BJP is not prepared for election, the left is not prepared for election, and we have parties like DMK, parties like BSP, which would certainly not want to see an election. In other words, this Lok Sabha has an overwhelming majority of MPs who would not want to see early election. So whatever games might get played, there is a good incentive for people not to want election. At the same time, there is an element of legislative uncertainty, and it could be a touch and go situation. I personally still think there is no big risk. The government might continue from issue to issue, from session to session, but it would look more unstable, and we would see a lot of political drama.
Yogendra, really appreciate your time, and thank you for that lovely analysis. But you're sticking your neck out, and you are of the view that SP will support the UPA II, right? I just want you to say that again.
SP in the current crisis, either SP or the BSP will support UPA II, and therefore the government does not face a threat right away. For some time to come, I see SP supporting UPA II for reasons which I have outlined. At the same time, there is no reason why SP would in principle extend the support to UPA II right till its very end. I think they would be instrumental. They would be somewhat careful in extending it.
Yogendra, so ultimately, in the current crisis, whom do you think will emerge as the big winner? Do you think Congress will emerge as a big winner, or regional parties will emerge as clear winners?
I'm afraid this is a situation where almost everyone would come out loser. Congress I don't see coming as big winner, because all those big policy reforms which win applause in studios like this are unlikely to win big applause from the people, because these are not issues which excite people. Prime Minister may have put his foot down, but the issues on which he has put his foot down are not issues which would appeal to the people. The BJP is unlikely to gain very much from it, because the party is in shambles and there is internal policy struggle going on. The left is simply in no position to benefit. They are struggling for survival. So on balance, politically, regional parties and other smaller players are gaining. But that is not because of these developments. They are the default gainers of this situation.
Yogendra, final question before we let you go. Whenever the elections take place, if not midterm, who do you think would be UPA's prime ministerial candidate?
My sense is that it's quite clear that Mr. Manmohan Singh is not going to now go for the third time. That's something we've heard from newspapers, that's something we've heard from him, that's something we've heard generally. It's in the air, and it stands to reason. So in a sense, he's completing his innings, and time now is clearly for Rahul to take over. So he would be the face of the UPA in 2014. That we can be reasonably sure. Whether it succeeds or not is something that is still to be seen.